y'all, it is Hope at Crafty Hope, and I want to go ahead and admit that ever since the Use It Up, Fill It Up 2 challenge from Tiffany at Southern Gals Designs has ended, I have been struggling to art journal every day. I really, it's been real sporadic, and I just haven't been able to keep up with it as much as I would like, and I would like to make it a habit. So I've decided that maybe working in a smaller journal would be less pressure and less work and would take less time. That's doubtful, but it's an idea. So looking through my stack of journals, I found this little junk journal that I made probably 2 or 3 years ago and had it pushed off to the side. Apparently, I pulled it out maybe a year ago when I was drawing a bunch of faces because I've got a couple faces drawn in it. But then it looks like I put it back down. And I think it looks like I put it back down because the page that's in there, that was the next one, was just a piece of scrapbook paper with a big shiny sticker label in the middle of it. And that was just no fun and not inspiring. So I decided to cover that whole thing up with gesso. I just used a palette knife and smacked that down, and now that label's gone. So once that gesso was down, I added some texture to it with a hand carved stamp, and then added a couple colors. Used a distress crayon in like an orange, probably orange marmalade, and kind of mix that in with my finger in the wet gesso, and then used a Stabilo all pencil in brown and just scribbled that around in a couple places. And still, the gesso's still a little wet, but I'm going ahead and ripping up a couple of pieces of just some ephemera, book pages and handwritten letters and stuff like that into pretty small pieces. I don't tend to work in tiny little pieces of paper, but for this little journal, it really does work. So I used my Uhu glue stick and stuck those down, just a couple little pieces, keeping some of the colors I'd already put down. And then I've got this Tattered Angels spray in like a pinky orange. I'm not really even sure what to call it. And I just sprayed that on there and moved it around a little bit with a wet paintbrush. And then I wanted to do pink, but I couldn't find any regular ink spray. So I grabbed my homemade alcohol ink spray and just sprayed that on there. And then I really love adding a touch of yellow to pages because it really just seems to, I don't know, brighten it up, lift it, elevate it. And so I used a Colorix, which is kind of like a gelato, and just scribbled that down in a couple spots to add that brightness. I've picked out a Tim Holtz Chit Chat sticker, and I'm layering that with a couple different kinds of other ephemera there, and I'm playing with it, the placement, and all of that, trying to find where I think would be best. And I finally just am like, all right, just glue your stack and then you can figure out where it goes. So I did that, and I'm moving it around a little bit and finally like, all right, just stick it down. So again, I'm trying to just be more a little intuitive with my art journaling and not put too much pressure on me. That's why I want it to work smaller. So I took another distress crayon, this time in black soot, to just put a couple grungy touches, and then went around my phrase there with a Stabilo all pencil in black this time, and then wet both of those, just kind of blend them and let that grunge be there. And I thought it needed a little more black to it to, I don't know, ground it somehow, I guess. And so I started adding these little crosses on there, but because the little sentiment that I put on there said something about dreams, I decided they needed to be like little stars, like while you're sleeping, the stars in the sky. So I made them more like asterisks and put those around the kind of coming off that sentiment. And I think that worked really great. And I've discovered in looking at the pictures later that I did have one that still didn't get asterisks, it's still a cross, but I'm leaving it. It's kind of unique like me. So that's it, guys. I'm hoping to have more of these. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And thanks so much for coming by. Bye.